Hello and welcome to The Changing Paradigm. I'm Dr. Patricia Hill, and today my guest is Rick Schuler, a singer-songwriter who reminds us all a lot of John Denver. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Patricia. It's really awesome to be here.
Well, it's really awesome to have you here. You've been around Aspen now for how long? You came to town?
Gosh, it's been probably most of the summer, back and forth between Vail and Aspen.
Rick came to Aspen and was an instant hit here because of his resemblance to John Denver physically and his amazing resemblance to him in singing voice and mannerisms, everything. It's almost uncanny, really. But
Thank you.
it's been very sentimental for a lot of us who knew John personally, because you do remind us so much of him. It's almost as if he's back again. Oh. And at times it is really a little unnerving, but wonderful. And more than that, you're just a very talented man on your own. You don't really even try to be like John Denver, I understand, but
No.
at the age of 13, people started telling you that you looked like John Denver and sounded like him.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
Yeah, well, we'd love to hear it.
Well, at 13, I had to put on glasses, and so as I may have mentioned to you before, as soon as I put on glasses, people were telling me, "Hey, you look like John Denver," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't know who John Denver was. I was at the time until when I found out who he was, I did know that I'd heard him on the radio. I'd heard many of his songs on the radio, and I didn't know what he looked like, but apparently everybody was telling me he looked like me, and when I saw him on television, I was like, oh my gosh, wow." And I observed a lot of things very similar to me, especially the timbre or color of his voice, which I thought was really interesting.
Even your speaking voice sounds like his speaking voice, not just your
Really?
singing voice, but yeah.
I don't know. Honestly,
It's true.
people have been telling me those kind of things for years, but I don't, I hear myself, but I do hear the vocal color. I mean, when I sing and I resonate through my chambers up here, there's a color that sounds to me similar to John, but I didn't know John personally, so I would have to defer to y'all on that one.
Interestingly, you've met a lot of people who did know John personally, including his manager, Hal Thaw, who thinks you are just the spitting image of John, and even his children, who have said that you remind them of their father.
Well, quite honestly, it's a very humbling thing. I have great respect, immeasurable respect for John, and have fallen deeply in love with John and his music and all of those close to John, his family and friends, and the meaning behind these songs have really inspired me in ways that I cannot quite articulate.
Well, John was so gifted. He was a really talented musician, poet. He was a visionary. He was just an amazing man, and we all admired him so much. So to have you come in, and you have a lot of similar personality characteristics. You're very spiritual. You're very intelligent. You're involved in all sorts of amazing things.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's really just a great honor to know you.
Well, it's a mutual pleasure.
Thank you very much. Maybe we could actually start right off with singing what is now our state song, Rocky Mountain High, just to show people how similar you are in the style and in the performance that John Denver did.
Yeah, that would sound great. Well, thank you. He was born in the summer, his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he's born again. You might say he'd found a key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken and he doesn't really care. He keeps changing fast, but it don't last for long. Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. And I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. The shadow from the starlight is softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. He climbed Cathedral Mountains. He saw silver clouds below. He saw everything as far as you can see. And they say that he got crazy once when he tried to touch the sun. And he lost a friend but kept his memory. Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. His side is turned inside himself to try and understand the serenity of a clear blue mountain plain. And the Colorado Rocky Mountain High. And I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Talk to God and listen to casual reply. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Now his life is full of wonder, but his heart still knows some fear of a simple thing he cannot comprehend. I'd try to tear mountains down to bring in a couple more people, more scars upon the land. And the Colorado Rocky Mountain High. And I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. No, he'd be a poor man if he never saw an eagle fly. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Friends around the campfire, and everybody's high. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High.
Beautiful. I actually have tears in my eyes. It really is amazing. The way you capture the sound, the body language, everything. And you're not even trying to do that, which is the interesting part. You're just a very genuine person. You are so who you are. But that is, it's uncanny, really it is.
Well, thank you. I mean, John, well, I believe that John approached his music with the purest of intentions, and I approach his music as well as all music with pure intentions. And I just hiked up the Cathedral Mountains yesterday.
Yes.
And I mean, this song has become so much more meaningful to me. In fact, when I first saw the lake, my friend Annie Quiet took me there, and I cried. I'd never seen anything so beautiful in my life. And so singing that song in fact, all of John's songs are so rooted in Aspen, here in this whole area.
Well, yes, he was very inspired by nature, and obviously you have the same kind of reaction to nature as John did. He always sang about the sunshine and about the mountains and the beauty. But his songs have a universal appeal. You know, he was very popular all over the world, in China and Russia, everywhere. People responded to his music. Not only because he spoke so much about nature, but he spoke about home, and
Mm.
home was always such an important thing to him, and something that is very important to you and that you speak about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, John, when I found a connection between John Denver and C.S. Lewis, the writings of C.S. Lewis, especially a book called The Weight of Glory. And he mentions that there are three longings: the longing for home, the longing for love, a relationship, and the longing for purity, the purity of nature. Evelyn Underhill talks a little bit about those in different ways, but there are ancient themes that are all of ancient literature, and John, I think, captures the longing so consummately, really, so perfectly.
Yes, well, he was a very emotional man, very attached to his children, and just loved humanity, really, and a great humanitarian, and so are you.
Well, thank you.
Interesting. People want to compare you to John Denver and almost see you as John Denver, but you are a very unique person on your own, also.
Thank you.
And a very interesting one, I might add. Your story is quite fascinating. Besides the music, you're a computer expert. In fact, that has been your work, right?
Yeah, for many years I made my living as a consultant doing CICS systems programming or IT consulting, which is my specialty, was Customer Information Control System by IBM and mainframe computer operating systems. And but it's interesting. It's sort of a left brain, right brain kind of thing. We've had conversations about that, since I know that's in your area of expertise.
We could talk for 10 hours at this point. I don't know. Just keep on going.
It's an ongoing conversation.
It is. But you are one of those people, I think, that is able to integrate the right and left side of your brain. You can be very left brain and analytical and computer oriented, but then you have this amazing poetic, beautiful spiritual side also.
Well, I guess I need them both.
Well, we all do. We all do, but not too many people really can access both or put them together in a meaningful kind of way. And you do that.
Wow. Well, thank you. I know this is your area of expertise, and it's always fun to talk to you because I can learn a lot about it.
Well, I can explain a few things to you just in terms of, technically, and I'm sure you can explain a lot to me technically too. I don't know that much about computers, so we can have an exchange of information.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
One of the things that you've talked to me about is you're very spiritual and have a deep feeling for Israel. And you've spent a lot of time in Israel?
Yes, I have.
You're Christian, but
Yes.
you are involved in some archaeological digs?
Yes, I'm part of a staff of people of an expedition actually looking for Dead Sea Scrolls. We've basically worked on the Qumran Plateau by the Dead Sea. The whole southern end of the plateau, we've been working on that since the summer of 2002.
That's
and we
fascinating.
found rooms full of stuff, coins, bone deposits, wine jugs, oil lamps, just all kinds of wonderful, fascinating things. And we've yet to publish our finds yet, but we're working on that. And we have more dig seasons to come.
Have you actually found any more texts or
We haven't found any more texts.
scrolls?
Someone on our site found what's called an ostrakhan, which is basically an ancient grocery list. And they wrote these
Really?
little notes on stones, basically. And it was a grocery list